Water Cooler? I'm Tristan Linville, joined by my smarter co-host, Michael Callahan.
Very false.
You're gonna think manufacturing and technology are cool when we're done with you. This is episode 12, and we have a great guest in store for you today. Michael, what's up?
Tristan, it is a good day. It is a good day. It's almost such a good day that I feel like I could see myself playing golf, but it's really just, that's what a vision is. That's different in vision and reality. I can visualize it. I'm not going to get there. But anyways, Tristan, I need some humor to start my day off. Let's go. What do you have?
I got you, man. I got you. So my wife told me that she has 14 reasons why she could leave me. And tennis, like my obsession with tennis, is one of them. And I said, honey, that's 15, love.
That's pretty good. That's good. I like it. Can maybe instead of just a podcast, we could take all these jokes and make a book, and maybe we'll leave it at that.
Business ideas.
What do we have today?
Yeah, we got a special guest. Bringing him on now, the ERP doctor himself, Dan Aldridge.
Dr. Aldridge.
What's up, water coolers?
There you go. See, it's hard to get that excited, isn't it? It's like,
I know.
It's like another level.
My child's sleeping in the other room. I hope I didn't wake her.
Yeah, you did. Don't
worry. For sure. Well, Dan, thanks for joining us, man.
Absolutely.
Dan, I love your title. I hope you trademarked it, by the way. And if you did or didn't, tell us, how did you come up with the genius title of ERP Doctor?
Right. Well, so I had my own consulting business for about 15 years. And we did a lot of work that was kind of like your health checks and things like that. So we had initial engagements where we were trying to take the pulse and all of those sorts of things, right? Started to see a pattern that it fell into this kind of doctor's theme. And then I decided to create a website called ERPdoctors.com. So that was meant to be a resource, lots of demo videos and things like that, different ERP packages. And at the time I was working for Infor. So did a lot of those types of demo videos and just kind of adopted this moniker of the doctor and said, we make house calls, we're the doctors, we make house calls, all that kind of theme to work in. As we started to do more transformation work, it got even stronger. We got, bigger than just ERP. We started to get into MES and CPQ and all these different kinds of softwares. And it became even more applicable. So also there was learning. We provided training. So that's, getting your doctorate or whatever, getting your PhD in ERP. We used to say.
Yeah. So instead of people with high cholesterol and prescribing fish oil, you prescribe solutions, ERP solutions. I love it.
And Michael, we're going to play into that today. Every question that we are asking, we are totally playing into this. So the doctor theme.
Yeah. That's what happens with the water cooler.
Yeah. I mean, got to tell jokes, got to make people smile and laugh. So, Dan.
I kept on going with that. I joined a group called Insight Jam, which is an always-on video podcasting platform that Solutions Review is a company that has that platform. And they recruited a bunch of experts, and I became one of their experts, in quotes. And they allowed me to develop my own show. So I said, why not just develop the ERP Doctor show? So actually, one of the other guys that was on the list of the experts, he's an analyst. His name is Sam Gupta, and he has a firm called Elevate IQ. I think you guys know it. And he was doing his own webinars and everything on his own. And then we decided to collaborate on the first few ERP doctors. We did like 8 of them, and then I had to go do my real job. And then they approached me again and said, hey, we'd like to change it up a bit and change the format and have revolving hosts and call it Evolving ERP. So that's what we're doing today. Every couple of weeks, we do another episode of Evolving ERP.
I love it. One day we'll have to get Sam on. Sam, while you're listening, if you just press 7, it'll directly schedule you. So press 7. It's a good number.
That's high tech.
Yeah, it's very high tech.
Yep. So, well, Dan, I wanted to start with the first question, and again, playing into the theme. Talk about what viral strains of ERP has come across in the current market that's really like hindering organizations from making progress in their transformation journey. So what are you kind of seeing of those symptoms that are out there right now?
I think it's really a sickness of old ERP systems, right?
Yeah.
There's a plague. I even got it. I got into this theme.
This one and put it
you guys saw my Holy Grail one that I just did, right? So it's like, bring out your dead, and that's the old ERP systems coming out to be laid off by the ERP vendors, right? Their ERP vendors are going to give them a swift stick to the head, right? Try to kill them off and bring them into the cloud. So it's basically something that had to happen, right? Because we've got ERP over 25 odd years, right? Since I began probably 25 years ago with Bond. There's just so many on-prem versions of ERP systems that have developed and been customized, and they didn't move forward with their customizations. They can't go to new versions and things like that. So they're just really not up to the task of today's companies in a rapidly evolving supply chain. Can't keep up, right? Mm-hmm. So that's really kind of the scourge that we're dealing with, is all these old systems. Now, you have some of the ERP companies like SAP, for example, that have said, we can't support any of the, we can't support all these old versions anymore. So you guys have to upgrade. So they've said, they have their big on-prem system is ECC, and they say, anything older, I'll get this right, I think, anything older than EHP 5 version that's real old stuff, right? That could be going back to R3 or whatever before it was renamed, has to come up to an on-prem version that's convertible over to their cloud platform, which is S/4HANA, right? So they basically laid down this first date to get the older on-prem to the newer on-prem. And that's by the end of 2025. And as we know, we're about a year and a quarter away from that deadline already. Yeah. And there's just a ton of people who haven't really started that journey because they've got so many other priorities, if you think about it, right? So cloud ERP is not necessarily top of mind. They're being told they have to get AI or they're going to get left behind or whatever. There's a lot of these type of thing. And what's happened is they're getting left behind because that deadline is ever approaching. They're going to lose their maintenance. They're going to lose their support unless they go to third-party support or something like that, right? And there's also a crush of consulting, right? Because your SIs, like your Accentures and your Deloittes, are focused on doing these conversions to the cloud, and the bigger guys are squeezing out the smaller guys, right? So for SAP, a smaller guy might be 5 billion and below, right? So you got these still massive companies that are being basically squeezed out because the larger ones are being serviced.
I think it also goes back to the previous episode with Robert Kramer on talking about there's really two things that happen on a legacy or an old ERP. One is obviously the support, and it's that it literally turns on in the morning, right? That's step one, most important piece. Things operate, things are safe and secure. But there's an additional piece that's probably becoming much more important, and that's the competitive advantage that going to a modern ERP provides. So I think people need to be mindful of, yes, there's why we are on an old ERP. Yes, it's functioning, but your competitors are getting all these competitive advantages because they're deploying whether it's AI, ML, RPA, they're becoming more efficient and proficient in their day-to-day lives.
Mm-hmm.
And now their margins are improving, so they can do more than you can. And so,
yep.
Yeah.
A lot of it's workflow based, right? I mean,
Yeah.
workflow and automation are a huge advantage that you're not going to get, or it's very difficult to do if you have an on-premise system.
Yeah.
Now you can build things called like microservices. Jan Bond, for example, he has a company that does microservices, and that's making web-based applications on top of on-premise ERPs, which is great, but it doesn't cover the whole ERP. He's doing it in spots, right? He's not redesigning the whole ERP. So you're really limited in what you can do with other cloud applications also. So you want your CRM to be Salesforce or whatever. If you want a connector, you can't connect the cloud-based CRM to the on-prem ERP easily, right? You might use some APIs or something to transfer data, but it's not easy to do. So that's a huge part of why you want to go to the cloud with your ERP.
Yeah. So hypothetically, Dan, you have a patient who's a mid-market manufacturer. They're about to embark on this transformation journey. How do you prescribe them a technology, or how do you make sure that they're going to get the right technology and they're going to implement it into a way that actually makes their business more productive and improves the overall footprint?
Yeah. So for a mid-market manufacturer, I would recommend that you find a vertical industry solution that most closely matches what you do, right? So for example, if you're an automotive, if you're an OEM, you're probably not mid-market, but that could be at the enterprise level would be fine. But if you're mid-market, you might be a parts supplier, tier 1, tier 2 parts supplier. And you have to, there's certain regulations in automotive, there's trading partners, there's EDI transactions, there's all of these things that you have to do to hook up to an OEM, for example. I would find a vertical industry solution, and I know of a good one, by the way, that's Infor, that is vertical, is very closely matched to what you do, all kidding aside. That's what you want to do because you don't have to. So there's lots of reasons why you want to do that. Biggest reason is that it's virtually ready to go out of the box without massive modification, right? That's the biggest reason. Second reason would be when you're in a transformation process, one of the big things you want to do is evaluate your business processes, right? So you want to go through the exercise of going through the process flows, order to cash, procure to pay, all of the things, the connections that you would make with suppliers in that world, in the automotive world, is different than it would be in, say, A&D or some other industry, right? So you want to go through those processes, and you want to have basically process catalogs that are geared to that vertical industry that you're in, right? Because it really helps with the process of going through the business processes. Right? It's just like, do you have that? Yeah, we have that because we're in the automotive industry. Yeah. Great. Okay, well, you want to turn on that functionality. You want to click that parameter, to turn on that functionality. So I think that's a big deal. So that's what I would start with.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
There's a genius. So something that you said reminded me of a conversation I had with a client yesterday. Was they are thinking so strategically about those business processes that they're aligning potentially like a design workshop, and they still haven't even chose their solution of choice at the moment, but they're already so forward thinking about their implementation that when they have like lean initiatives, like lean manufacturing initiatives that they're trying to roll out for 2025, they're already thinking about trying to align that with the future state of whatever ERP solution they're going to select. And
who are these guys?
Well,
I want to find out.
I'd love to tell you, but I can't. But isn't that just genius? Like, it was so refreshing to, hear that from the customer wanting to do that, as opposed to us trying to convince them that they should do that. It was absolutely ground shaking.
Two thoughts around that. Again, I should probably not go back to this episode, but it was a good episode. But it was the episode with Robert Kramer where we talked about, as you're going into these things, you need to think about, what do you want the future to look like? Too often people start and they're just like, hey, we got to get up and running. But no, stop. Prepare for what you want the future to look like. What data do you want? What things do you want to be able to do? Because that influences how you set things up today, and the importance of the data integrity, importance of data governance. So that's one. Two, Dan has mentioned this a couple of times, and it goes back and brings me back to bad memories of a former career. And it was, we had a product, and on that product, which was in a virtual machine, right? So it's kind of hybrid. But we had an add-on that worked only for our company. But every time that I wanted to do something, literally every single time that I wanted to use either a new tool or do something else in the system, the response that the integrator told me was, don't do that. It's going to mess up your add-on. It's going to mess up your add-on. And guess what? In order to upgrade, you couldn't just flip the switch, because the add-on caused so many issues. So I think, as you talk about that future concept, right, of as we go to the cloud versus on-premise, and add-ons versus just extensibility, I think it's a really important topic. I mean, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, those integrations, the integrations and the add-on products, those need to be very tightly integrated, and they need to be relatively customization and upgrade proof. So you talked about extensibility. Back in the day, we used to customize the crap out of everything, right? And just because we thought we needed this functionality, maybe we did need this functionality, maybe it wasn't in the solution because it wasn't fit to my industry.
Yeah.
Right. But what we did is we customized source. And when we did that, we put ourselves in exactly that same spot, which is, you upgrade here, you break here.
Yep.
Right. And the integration falls apart as well. So you need components. You need to approach it in a component-based way, and that could be either the modules inside the ERP, the modules outside the ERP, so CPQ, MES, all of those sorts of components are componentized, and they come together when the upgrade happens, right? Yeah. Without breaking.
Yeah,
without breaking.
But you cannot customize source. You need to do, if you're going to do customization, you want to do everything you can to avoid it, of course. But if you do it in a smart way, where you're using extensions, extensibility, and tools, no code, low code, semi-code, high code tools, whatever you need to build those and bolt them on.
Yeah.
And this is kind of a good lead into the last question. I think you've already answered a lot of it, but in all your years earning your white coat in ERP, I imagine you've racked up some ERP school debt as you've interacted with multiple solutions over the years. Like, you've mentioned a couple, and I know from just looking at your resume and on LinkedIn that you have worked with many solutions. So when you talk about kind of these industry specific solutions versus a general blanket solution to minimize the number of customizations, or C word, as I like to call it, that's one benefit. But do you see any other benefits with that?
With what, the extensibility?
Just like the industry specific approach, right? I mean, you can choose some of these massive solutions, or you can choose some of these very focused solutions out on the market. And so I'm just curious of, the benefits of choosing some of those very pointed industry specific type solutions.
Well, certainly the biggest benefit would be, time to implement.
Yeah.
Right? These are largely out of the box type solutions. And so it's more cost effective, takes less time. And the kinds of skills that are needed technical skills that are needed to make a one size fits all kind of solution to fit an industry. There's not a lot of that out there, actually, that people that can really do that. And it requires customization. But even if you're making extensions and trying to recreate that functionality, it's very expensive, and you need SIs, and it takes a long time, and there's a lot of testing. So you want a largely standard solution with largely standard business process models that you can use to implement. Really speeds it up, makes it more effective, makes it a closer match to what you want in your final output, makes it easier to train, because take the people in automotive or in aerospace and defense, right? They know those things like CMMC 2.0 or whatever it is, right? They know what it's supposed to do. So if you have industry specific solution that offers that out of the box, they're going to just fall right into the routine, right? Exactly. They're going to start entering their orders. It's all compliant, right? So those are the biggest advantages: cost, time to value, training much easier, and also the lack of the need for customization.
Yeah, no, that's great. Michael, you want to take us home with a big ending question?
Ooh, let's see. Dr. Dan Aldridge.
Yes, sir.
ERP Doctor has quite the following on social media. What would you like to tell the people the special projects you're working on? Highly wanted you.
Yes, I would like to tell them about a really big one that I'm working on. So my company is called PCG, and we are going to have quite a large video. It's mostly video. We're calling it PCG Insights Hub. And so it will have demo videos that are kind of like 2 to 3 minute, kind of, how do you enter a purchase order, things like that. Training videos that are longer, sort of end to end, what I'm calling buyer journeys. So those will be ones like selecting several videos that are underneath a header, have a summary, and then selecting ones underneath. And then some that are called playlists. So those will be ones that are automated, so you don't have to make a choice. So it would just be a series of videos that we would put in. And this all lives on a website. So we're going to have a website that's going to be attached to our main website, pcgservices.com. And that's going to be a monster library. And it's going to be along the lines of, there's a marketing company called HubSpot. I think you guys are familiar with HubSpot. They have a marketing academy that they put together, which is really visually rich and has all kinds of different journeys and things like that. I'm not going to get it that nice, but I want to make it something along those lines, because I've been posting things like just an introduction video, like your guys' friend Sarah Hatfield. She put together a really nice 2 minute long, this is the new interface of the Cloud Suites.
Right. And
it's 2 minutes long. It's pretty basic. It has the charts and graphs and KPIs and stuff out on the front. That has like 12,000 views.
That's it.
Let's go.
Views. Whoop, whoop. So there's a thirst for this, I think. And I don't believe there's any other ERP company that's doing this. I know that there are ones like ERP training videos and things like that that you pay to get in there, right? You pay per course or whatever it is. But in terms of a massive hundreds of videos library of these kinds of demo and training videos and buyer journeys and playlists and all of that stuff. I don't think there's anything out there like it. So I'm really excited about it. And I'd like to cooperate actually with you guys because you guys do such amazing videos. So,
well, we thank you for that that praise. It's just you just got two goobers out here just doing our thing. So
trying to earn our doctorate.
Yeah, racking up that ERP debt. So, well, Dan, we appreciate you coming on. We always have a good time when we get together. So, for episode 12, as always, make sure to drink that H2O.
Hope
you got it right here.
You enjoyed the show.
I love it, guys. Thanks for having me on. I really appreciate it.
Thanks,
you guys are doing a great job.
Thanks, man.